For our last speaker, we have our spokesperson, Mark Baird of the Jefferson State Declaration Committee. He's the reason a lot of this has been getting done in our other counties, and we would like to hear what he has to say.
Thank you, Elizabeth. First, everybody, this takes a lot of courage to put one of these things on, and I'd like a big hand for these young men and women because they are standing up for what they believe in. And even more importantly than that, they know how to do things we don't know how to do. And think about that. I mean, the internet. What we need to do to form a state of Jefferson is we need to convince people to help us. The people we need to convince don't live here. They don't know how we live. They don't know what we do. They're in a place far, far away. So we need to educate them, and we need to help them, and the internet's one way we can do that. We need to help them learn why they would win in letting us go and why we would win in being let go. And that's something that the Facebook effort can go a long way to accomplish. What we want to do here, and this is the most important thing we're going to do, we have to have a successful outcome. We have to end up with our own state, or none of the rest of this matters. None of what anyone wants matters. None of what anyone does matters. None of these issues matter if we don't have a successful outcome, and that outcome has to be our own state. Because we know we're underrepresented. Everyone knows that. The sheriff outlined it. All of the speakers outlined it. In order to change that dynamic, we have to win. In order to win, we have to present a balanced, even, inclusive argument so that we can convince people who live 1,000 miles away that it would be in their best interest to allow us to form our own state, and we know it would be in our best interest. How do we do that? We have to craft the conversation so that we can present logical arguments to show why they are better off with us having our own state and why we are better off. What are those arguments? Well, we have a lot of issues that have been presented already, but the most important issue is representation. And that's how we have to sell this. We have to craft the conversation so that they understand that it would be in their best interest and most economical for them to have self-interest and representation that only has to worry about their problems, and we in turn would have representation that could better worry about our problems. This state is so big and so diverse, people in Los Angeles can't understand the problems we face. And we, in turn, cannot understand, and we can't help them with the problems they face. They have large infrastructure problems. They have water problems. They have big gang problems. They have problems in high-rise building codes, freeway building codes, earthquake codes, things we don't understand and can't help them with. Conversely, we don't need a $100 billion high-speed train. We don't need $80 billion worth of tunnels under the Delta. We don't need a bridge that's 20 years late and $8 billion over budget. We don't need any of those things. We don't need probably 4 out of the 500 plus state agencies that exist today. We probably don't need any of those things. But all of this is irrelevant unless we win. None of this matters unless we win. So what we have to do first is we have to have as many of these declarations passed as we possibly can by as many governmental agencies as we can get to pass them or convince to pass them by the next legislative session. That will give us the logical governmental and popular support to go to the legislature and present this to have legislation introduced to allow us to form our own state. And then we must educate those legislators who are going to vote to let us go because they have the majority. That's just the mathematics. And the way to do that is to present an economic argument to show that we are, in a sense, a division of the Corporation of California that is neglected. We're poorly managed. We lose money. We lose money year after year after year. And the argument where we can win this state is that they would be economically advantaged in letting us go, and we in turn would be free to manage our portion of this corporation with local managers, with people who have experience and have the wisdom to turn this state of Jefferson around so that we are a profitable and free entity. Once we have a state of our own, a great many things are possible. A great many things. We can have a constitutional framework that supports free enterprise, that protects the property rights of the individual, that protects our ability to make a living for our families, and allows our children and grandchildren to prosper in a place where they can stay and have children and grandchildren of their own. Those are the things that are possible if we gain our own state. All of the rest of it is irrelevant if we don't win. So I'm asking you here tonight to please direct your efforts, participate in the internet effort, support these young men and women, participate in your declaration committees, be sure to give us contact information. And here's another thing. This has been a great meeting. We learned a lot of stuff. Now, are we going to go home and sit on the couch and turn on the TV and say, boy, what a great meeting? Or are we going to do something with this information? And that something is participate. That something is step up to the plate and honor your Constitution by being an active participant in it. We must be active participants in our own lives. Remember, our liberty was purchased for us with the blood of our fathers. It is our turn to purchase liberty for our posterity. It is our turn to step up to the plate and actually do something in order to reverse the negative trend that the state of Jefferson is in, form our own state, and take a positive direction. It's all within the constitutional framework. It's all within the framework of the law. It is legal, ethical, moral, and there is historic precedent for exactly what we propose to do. But none of this is going to happen unless we stop sitting around and we start to take an active participation in our own liberty and our own lives. None of this is possible unless each one of us is an active participant in what happens next. How can we do that? The vote in Modoc is on the 24th. As many people as possible, go show up there. Support the State of Jefferson Declaration in Modoc. Get on the internet. You all, most of us are from somewhere else. You all have friends, family, former coworkers, relatives, former school chums, current coworkers that live somewhere else. Get on the internet. Convince those people, educate them in order to help us to achieve our own state. How do you do that? Tell them we need help. We're in trouble here. We need self-determination. We need self-representation to reverse the economic problems that we have, to reverse the underrepresentation that we have. Convince them that it is in our best interest for them to help us, and it is in their best interest also, because as we leave, Southern California will have more money, more self-government, more ability to correct the problems they face. We in turn will have the same thing. This is a win-win for California. This state is ungovernable in its present size. We're too diverse. We need to separate so that we can become governable, and appropriately so, in return. So I urge you all to participate, support these men and women and what they're trying to do, support your state of Jefferson, and you can only do that by activism, by doing something. Thank you very much for coming, and God bless you all, and hope we can win this thing, and I think we can.
Thank you. That would be the conclusion of our presentations, our concerns. Now what? Now it's time to form those action teams in our communities. Now it's time to get together. We each have individual skills that we can bring to the table. Everyone in here has one thing that they can do. I'm good at getting on Facebook. That's what I did, okay? So, yeah, it made this happen. Facebook made this happen, so thank you. We would like to take the rest of this evening to network, to let people get in with those counties, to meet people in their counties so that they know who the other leaders in their counties are. Up at the front in the box, we are taking contact information, and if you guys haven't given your contact information and want to, you can do it there. And I'm also interested in what are your little individual skills, because we can all help each other. And I would like to help facilitating and getting those skills working and working for this cause. So that would be the conclusion of our presentations, and I want to thank you all for coming. I know a lot of you traveled. So I would like to take this opportunity and let's all meet. Let's meet our neighbors, let's find out where they were from, and let's see what we can do right now. Okay?